Hello, hello. How's everyone doing?
Hit it, boys.
So happy to be here. How's everyone doing? Okay, we just run into a couple of issues there, but we are good to go. How is everyone doing here? Fantastic. Okay, everyone, ready to go roll? Sorry about that. Life just happens with live streaming, but we are back here. So, welcome to Rethink and Revamp Your Career. My name is Camila Cole. I'm super excited to be here with you. It's going to be a fantastic time. We're going to be here for an hour. So, let me just put it out there. This time, this is not a webinar. This is not a class. This is not me talking over for an hour. This is a workshop. So what this means is that we're going to be rolling up our sleeves. We're going to be doing some fun exercises. There's going to be music around. There's going to be a lot of fun things that we're going to be doing. But that also means that we're just not going to be passive looking at each other for an hour. We're going to be actually rolling up our sleeves and we're going to be doing some exercises. You're going to be hearing music. And just bear with me. This is all done in purpose to make sure that you have the best possible conditions so your ideas are flowing and flowing naturally. So, with that in mind, let's get into it. It's been absolutely wonderful to be here with you. And today we're going to be talking about how do we use creative thinking, how do we use creativity to revamp and rethink your career. So, for that, we're going to end up the day answering three major critical questions that are going to help you revamp the way that you think about your career. One question is going to be about what if. We're going to give ourselves the possibilities to think about what happens in the world, what happens with me, what happens with life if I just dare to dream a little bit beyond the what we typically think we should do with our career. So we're going to be talking about that. Second thing we're going to be doing is thinking about what we could do. Once we have identified a lot of different ideas for our next path, we're going to start thinking about how do we make this happen? Is this going to be a good fit for my life or not? Should I be doing something differently? And then finally, we're going to answer the last questions, which is my favorite is how do I make this happen? It's fantastic that I have a lot of ideas, but what happens after that? How can I make this a real thing? So that's exactly what we're going to be doing right now. So before we go any further, I want you to take 1 minute, only one single minute, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, anything that you can get your hands in, and let's just get ready for what comes next. Are we okay with that? Let's do it. Just have 1 single second to go and grab something to write on. If you have post-its, it's also super welcome, so go and grab those, and I'll be back in 30 seconds. Go.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about. Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning. Hit it, boys.
Okay, I am assuming that everyone has ready their things to go. So here is where we're going. Here's what we're going to be doing right now. We are going to start thinking about what is it that in our minds it's blocking us from thinking outside of the box. So what I'm going to introduce to you today is the concept of shortcuts. Shortcuts is everything that your mind is used to doing, is everything that keeps you safe, is your previous experiences, is everything that your mind puts into a bottle of what they know that it's safe for you and it's not gonna kill you, for example. And this is actually really good because that's the way we learn. That means that we don't have to learn how do we use a fork and a knife every time we eat, but it's really, really bad when we're thinking about thinking outside of the box. When it comes to innovation, when it comes to thinking about big ideas, when it comes to just solving problems in original ways. It's great because it keeps us safe, but safe is no way to grow. Safe is no way to innovate. Shortcuts are a fantastic way just to keep iterating over and over again. But here's the thing. What happens when you're in front of a situation in which you really feel that there is something out there that you just don't necessarily know what it is? Shortcuts is going to always pull you back. It's always going to tell you, hey, you know what? I've done this in the past. Let's go safe. Let's go to something that it's known. And that's okay. Sometimes it's okay. But sometimes, like right now, that we have the chance and the opportunity to think broad, to take a second step back and think about opportunities, it's going to slow us down. So what we have to do in that case is to really think about what sparks innovation in our brain. What makes our brain think differently? And I'm here to tell you that today we're going to discover something that it's called provocations. Provocations is everything that takes you out of your comfort zone, something that just makes your brain think differently. And some of these provocations could be something simple as, for example, taking a walk, doing yoga, playing music. But sometimes it's even better. It's about asking the right questions. It's about giving your brain the right framework to think about thoughts you've never thought before. For the last 12 years in my career, I've been working with brands all over the world and helping them innovate their marketing, their sales, and their media strategy. And we do that by sitting down with our clients and asking the right questions and giving them the right provocations. So today you're going to be asking, okay, how do I do that for myself? So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a couple of provocations. I'm going to help you think differently by providing something for your brain that is rarely something that you put together. And those provocations are going to help you think differently. And this works in the business environment, but it also works in the personal life. Let's face it, right now we're all going into a moment in which we're either thinking about the next step, we have been given an opportunity, like for example, a layoff, to think what comes after the work that I've been doing. And the majority of the times when we're in those stressful situations, our brains are going to go to these shortcuts. So we really need to force them with these provocations, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing today. At the end of the time that we're going to be spending together, you're going to end up with three things. One, answers to the three questions that I mentioned. And two, a set of groundbreaking ideas that are just the beginning of your new journey. I don't expect you to have all the answers by the end of our time, but I do think and I hope that you're going to have a really good first light to think about what might be out there for you, okay? And then finally, I just want you to have fun today. I just want you to finish this time with a smile on your face. Okay, so with that in mind, let's get to it. We're going to do the first exercise, and it's called the career cocktail, okay? The career cocktail is actually really good because it takes you out of the ordinary way of thinking about your career. It's going to help you think about, what if I put two things that are never supposed to go together, okay? What if I think about the things that I generally do and the things that I generally put in a drawer? And that's exactly what we're going to put together, a career cocktail, a set of ingredients that are going to help you think differently about what you do, who you are, and what is important to you. So if you're ready, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, I know that we're live in 3 different channels, so I'm just trying to go with the flow here of the comments. But if you're ready to go, just give me some love on the chat. Awesome. Yes, I'm excited to do it too. Okay, perfect. Let's go. Let's do it. Okay, so the first career cocktail we're going to do is understanding what are our ingredients. So the 3 ingredients that we need to do a career cocktail are these 3 things. What are your skills and passions? What are the industries or jobs that you might have never done? And then what are your values? What are the things that are important to you? So why are these ingredients important? First, because we're going to think about your skills. What are the things that you're really good at, or the passions? Maybe it could be something that you have not done as an actual job, but you're passionate about. And I'll give you an example in a minute. But think about your skills and think about your passions. Second thing is the industries and the jobs. And you may be thinking, okay, I'm in tech. Well, I'm going to force you this time to think about industries and jobs that you have not worked in the past. That's the trick here. I want you to think about industries and jobs that you have not done in the past. that you're curious about, that you're excited about, but it's not your bread and butter. It's not what you're doing right now. And then finally, your values. Your values are critical when we're thinking about your career. We want to make sure that the next step you take works for you. The next step that you take is going to be something that you want to make sure that it's around the type of life that you want to live. You want to live your best life. So values are going to be critical, and it's very personal, but I want to make sure that you are thinking about what matters to you when you take that next step. So here's how we do it. Here's my example. I'm going to ask you to take that piece of paper and list 3 skills or passions that you have. In my case, that is facilitation, speaking, and one of my passions, and don't tell anyone, but it's cake decoration. I absolutely love decorating cakes, okay? So I want you to think about your major skills and your passions. It could be a combination of both. It could be the 3 just passions. It could be just the 3 skills, whatever works for you. Second thing I want you to do is take and make a list of industries or jobs that you're not in it right now, but that you're curious about. So in my case, I have always been very intrigued about tourism. Everything around tourism really piques my attention, traveling. Second one, NGOs, like the non-profit side of the house is something that I really like to explore at some point. And then finally, the restaurant environment, the restaurant industry, I think is fascinating. So those are the 3 that I would like to explore something around it, but I've never done anything there. I haven't worked there. I've always been in sales, advertising, tech. Those are not part of my list. And then finally, your values. Your 3 top values, the things that are critical for you, for your life, that makes it work, that makes or breaks, that it's something that you require. In my case, for me, it has to be a place that it's creative. It has to have creativity. Second one, flexibility. I am a proud mom of 3 young kids, and I need my flexibility right now. In this moment of my life, I require flexibility. So that is critical for me. And then finally, social impact. Whatever I'm doing in life, it has to have social impact. It has to make a change in the world. If it's not there, it's not for me. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a minute, okay? I'm going to put a timer. I'm going to put some music, and I just want you to take a piece of paper, take a second, and write your 3 skills or passions, your 3 values, and your 3 industries or jobs that you're not in right now, okay? Let's start there, and we'll see what happens, okay? Let's do it. Okay. Remember, 3 values, 3 skills, and 3 industries. Even though it says 4 minutes there, I'm only giving you 1.5 or 2 maximum because we're going to use it to head to something else. So, go for it. Take your piece of paper and remember 3 skills or passions, 3 values that are important for you right now in your life, and then 3 industries or jobs that you would like to do. Yes, it could be values that are important to you right now or in the future. And if you have any questions at any point, you can put them in the chat, and I'm happy to answer them as we go live. When you have them, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm good to see if I can bring in some time back. But if not, don't worry. You have around 30 more seconds. Perfect. Okay, I see some of you saying I'm ready to go. Okay, let's give 15 more seconds to the other folks. Great. Remember, you're using your notebooks, your piece of paper, your Post-its, whatever makes it comfortable. Awesome. Okay, so here we go. Fantastic. Okay, so here comes the interesting part of this exercise. Now that you have identified your ingredients, we're going to be thinking about how do we blend them together? How do we put them together? How do we shake things up? So we are going to shake things up, okay? And by that, is I'm going to provide some provocations to you. I'm going to provide some recipes for you, but we're also going to create our own, okay? So first thing that we're going to be doing is playing with some numbers. I want to make sure that all those three things that I mentioned to you, the three skills and passions, your values, and your industries, make sure you put numbers in front of them. This is very important because that's going to be part of your recipe. So, as I give you a recipe, I want you to take first your skills and values and find number 2. Okay, just circle it around. Then I want you to think about the industry or jobs, and I want you to circle number 3. Okay? And then finally, I want you to think about values, and I want you to circle number 1. So your first recipe, and to shake things up, it has to have 2, 3, 1. The number 2 in skills, the number 3 in the industries or jobs, and the number 1 in values. And see what happens. What is that combination? In my case, that would be, for example, speaking. Second one would be the restaurant and industry, and the third one would be something around creativity. So what I want you to think about is those 3 things together. What can that be? In my case, if I put those 3 things together, I might entertain the idea of having a career that helps restaurants come up with innovative menus. Okay? So I want you to get the feeling of how it actually works. We're putting your brain in a spotlight, and we're asking it to put things together that you generally don't put together. I am not proactively thinking that my next step is going to be around helping restaurants come up with innovative menus. If I was just thinking about my next career move, probably I would be saying I have to go to sales and marketing on a tech company because that's what I've always been doing. Again, a shortcut. What I want to do is avoid that shortcut, and I'm giving it a provocation and giving it a recipe to think differently. So in this case, I'm asking you and I'm kind of poking you with this provocation about what if you put together something that you're excited about in an industry that you're always been interested about and that it goes with your values. Just mix things up. Okay? So that's the first recipe. Second recipe is number 2, 2, 3. Okay? In my case, that means speaking, NGOs, and social impact. If I put that together, I could entertain a career around social advocacy. And the last one that I'm going to give you is number 112. Okay? 112, in my case, would be online coaching for hotels. That means I like facilitation, I want it to give me some flexibility, and I want to do it in the hotel industry. So if I put that together, I came up with the idea of doing online coaching for hotels. So those are 3 recipes that I just gave you. And I want you to kind of play around with those. But I'm also inviting you to think about your own recipe. So for the next 5 minutes, we're going to be doing that. Take your piece of paper, okay? Play with these 3 recipes that I gave you, but also mix elements on your own. Make your own recipe. Maybe it's 113 or maybe it's 223. Whatever it is that you feel it might be interesting. At the end of the 5 minutes, I want you to have at least 3 recipes, 3, that really talk to you. That you're like, that's interesting. I never thought about it, but you know what? I kind of like it. So in my case, I'm actually pretty intrigued about this, helping restaurants come up with innovative menus. I've never thought about it, but you know what? It makes sense, at least for me right now. So I want you to think about what that looks like. Provoke your brain, put things together that are not supposed to go together every day that we sit and think about our next career step, and then we'll take it from there. How does that sound? Is everyone okay with that? Do you like your recipes? Awesome. Yeah, I see a lot of comments coming in. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Fantastic. So I'm going to put the timer. More music. Remember, we're not here just to be passive. We're not here just to be talking. We're here to be doing some work and rolling up our sleeves. So here we go. 5 minutes on the clock. I'll be here answering any questions and reminding you about these things. Okay? So again, those are the recipes, but make your own. Here we go. Yay! Social impact happens to be in my recipe. I know on mine too. I love it. It's something very unique. And at least for me, it has to have that impact. Rodri, good to see you. I want to see how those amazing recipes come out. We have people from Brazil over here, from Ghana, Benedicta. That's awesome to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Melissa. Thank you. Yes, it is a very creative approach, and you'll see more and more with these exercises how you start thinking differently about what next step looks like. Not a cookie cutter thing. You don't have to be doing what you're supposed to do. You can always take a minute, step back, and think differently about your career. Hi, Kenneth, all the way from Philippines. That's fantastic to see you here. Thank you so much for joining. Liking it, loving that you're liking it. Thank you, Seema, for being here. Yes, this approach, I know you're gonna like it, and wait for it, it gets even better. So, go work on your recipes. We have 3.5 more minutes. Remember, things that work for you, mix things up, and find three that really speaks to you. Sometimes in life we get this breaks, which we take an opportunity to think differently about our careers and why not give ourselves a chance? But that's the trick. If we just have a white canvas and a white piece of paper and someone asks you, come up with something different to do with your life, most likely your brain will be like, no, I'm gonna go to what I know. That seems to be fine so far. But this is an open opportunity to do something differently and ask our brain to stop going into that shortcut and help us go somewhere else. Nice. Sell skills to help people land jobs. I love that. Fantastic. Ha! I like that recipe. And I know, Rodri, you would be absolutely wonderful at it. Fantastic. Okay. How are we doing? 2 minutes and 30 seconds to finish a couple more of your recipes. Remember, just play around with them. Think about your skills and passions. And you know what? If by the middle of this exercise you want to scratch those skills and you want to do something else, do that. Take them away and do only passions, for example. For example, my passion is cake decoration. I've never done anything on cake decoration, but you know what? Why not? So if I put cake decoration with something around innovation and something about online, maybe I can do online coaching on how to come up with designs for cake companies. I don't know. It might be it. Again, don't feel that you have to have the answer right now. It's just making your brain think differently. We're literally asking your brain to put things together that they never go together. And that is the beginning of the exploration of your journey. So give yourself the chance to be silly about it. And you know what? It's fun. It doesn't matter. It's going to be okay. Okay. I love that. Work in social enterprise that focuses on providing dignified jobs. Whoa. I'm blown away by that one just by reading it. Okay. What would that look like? We're going to find out really soon. Business consulting for SMEs. I'm in it. I'm liking it. Awesome. Okay, our last minute. We're hitting our last minute. Remember, finish a couple of your recipes, figure out how to put them together, okay? Don't have to be perfect. They may be silly, they may be out of the ordinary, and that is okay. Right now is not the moment to be putting judgment on it. We're just expanding our mind. This is the moment to be expansive. This is the moment to think that there is much more out there that we can do, okay? So give yourself the chance, give yourself the opportunity for all of these ideas to grow, to be nurtured, and we'll take it from there, okay? Perfect. I love that. Empower women in all industries to be their authentic selves through digital marketing. I mean, that's fantastic. Love it. Yes, give yourself the chance to think of what if I could do something like that? Yes, this is the moment to do the what if moment. Okay, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are done with our cocktails. Okay. So once we have done the cocktails, which is the moment in which we're thinking about possibilities. What if? We're going to give ourselves, first of all, a round of applause because that was actually pretty cool and very awesome that we were having the opportunity to do that. So now we're going to go into a moment in which we're going to be saying, okay, great. I have these 3 great ideas that are out of the ordinary. Hopefully you already have 3. If you have 2, it's fine. At least I want you to get the feeling. And remember, you can always come back to this exercise and do it again. This is not the end result of everything, but this is the opportunity for you to know that there is provocations that will help you think differently. So now we're going to the stargaze. Stargaze. This is the moment for us to think about how do we become more reductive in nature? How do we think about what we could do? How can we make this happen? Okay? And the reality is that if we have a lot of ideas, we're being very imaginative. That's fantastic. But creativity, it means that you have to have value creation behind it. It has to have some action behind it. Otherwise, you're just being imaginative. And right now, what it means is we are going to take ideas from being out here, up here, very up here, and we're going to start bringing them down and say, does this actually do work for what I need to do in my life right now? Because let's face it, we all have responsibilities, we all have things to do. We want to make sure that we're doing something that we're passionate about, that we're good at, that we're remunerated for, but it has to work. Otherwise, we're just being imaginative if we just leave them up here. So that's why we're going to introduce this concept that's called the stargaze. And stargaze is just a simple method to help you think about factors that are required for an idea to make it to the light of day. So what I'm going to ask you to do really quick is put a piece of paper and do this type of star, okay? It has to have 6 axes, okay? 6 axes. And then make sure that you put numbers from 1 to 5 in each axis, okay? 1 being on the inner part of the star and then the 5s on the outside of the star, okay? 1 to 5, okay? Once you've done that, hopefully fairly simple, we're going to think about the criteria that we're going to evaluate these ideas on, okay? So think about 3 things that are important for you for a work to work for you. So in my case, financial stability, money. Second one, flexibility. It has to allow me to have flexibility right now because my life and my kids depend on it. So flexibility. Third one for me, traveling. I love being out there. I love seeing the world. I love being able to work with people from different cultures, different areas of the world, different parts of the country, different languages. So for me, traveling is crucial. And I want that to be a lens in which I'm going to be looking at my ideas. Those 3, I want you to really think about what that looks like for you, okay? And those are up to you. But then I'm going to ask you to include these next 3 as part of ways to see a different lens of how those ideas have the possibility to come out to the light. One of those variables is going to be the risk. Is it too risky to do it or not? Risk is something very personal. That's okay. You can measure it as you want. But is it a high risk or a low risk move? The second variable that I would like you to introduce is experience. Do you have the experience behind it? Have you done it in the past? Have you done a course? Have you done something that gives you the experience to be able to do it? And then finally, do you have a way in? And by that, I mean, do you have a contact? Is there something that you can do to start getting your feet wet on that? Do you have a way in? Okay? So what we're going to do next is we're going to take all those 3 ideas that we came up from the cocktail, the career cocktail, and we're going to place them here based on those criteria. Okay? So it's going to look something like this. In my case, I'm going to take one of my ideas and I'm going to plug it. And it's going to be, okay, this one, it's going to make me good money. I think it has good potential for money. Flexibility, it's a number 3 for me. It doesn't allow me to have a lot of flexibility, so I'm going to put it in number 3. I'm going to put a dot on number 3. Travel, this one does not allow me to travel. Okay, so that's a number 2. Risky, it's a medium risk for me. I think it's definitely something that I feel intermediate comfort with. So I'm going to put that as a number 3. Experience. I do have some experience behind this, so I'm going to put it in number 4. And then a weigh-in, yes, I actually have a cousin that has, for example, a restaurant, and he could actually pull me into one of his new contracts. So I have a weigh-in, okay? And what I'm going to ask you to do is to connect the dots, okay? So at the end, you're going to have one idea that's going to look like this, okay? And name your idea so you don't miss it. And it could be idea number 1, or you can give it a name. But at this point, just make sure that you have either different colors or different patterns or something that you can identify your idea, okay? So the stargaze for my idea number 1 is looking something like this, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to repeat that with our 3 top ideas. And at the end, you're going to end up with something like this. This is my idea number 2, which has a different type of feeling and looks different in the map. And then my idea number 3, sorry about that. Okay? So at some point, these 3 ideas would look something like this in your map. And what we're aiming to do, or the idea that I would suggest thinking more about, should be the one that it's broader. Okay? The idea that feels or has more like a circle type of nature is something that you might want to entertain. Okay? So the closer in it, the closer to the circle, the smaller the circle is, the harder that idea might work for you, because you're basing it and giving it the lens on the things that are valuable to you and also the things that can make a career work or not, which is it risky? Do you have the experience? And do you have a way in? Okay? So at the end, we're trying to go and find the one that is a little bit wider in nature. And you might have 1 or 2 that are like that, and that's okay. It's something for you to visually understand where ideas are and how are they actually being assessed. Okay? So I want you to take a couple of seconds, couple minutes, and look at that, look at this map, and do exactly the same thing, but for your own. Okay? I'm going to leave it like that for a second because I don't want you to lose the picture of what it looks like. But think about, how do you map this? Once we have a map, we can move forward to the next step. Okay? Go for it. Have a couple minutes and let's have fun with it. Okay? Go. I'm not going to put the timer because the timer will take you out of this beautiful environment. So I'm just going to be here entertaining any questions you might have about the stargaze. Is it clear for everyone? Do you have a clear understanding of how you can plug in your ideas into the map? Yes, radial graphs for the wing. I think this is one of the best use cases. Yes, we can use it not only for business, we can actually use it for our lives. We kind of forget sometimes that all those techniques, frameworks, and especially around creative thinking and business creativity can be applied to life. It's just asking the right questions. Is just giving the right input. So thank you so much, Melissa. That is a great reminder that even though that this is creator or was intended from an innovation perspective for companies, this is very simple to use from a personal perspective. So think about the possibilities and imagine what you could do if you could understand how to plug in creative thinking strategies and creative thinking frameworks into personal life. Perfect, Gavina. Fantastic. Okay, so when you have them all mapped, just give me a shout out in the chat so I can move forward. But I will give you guys 30 more seconds to actually finish your map. And at the end should look something like this. Okay? Fantastic. Love it, Benedict. I'm super happy that you're liking it. I knew that it was going to be a good one. It's a crowd pleaser. Fantastic. Okay, so here we go. Now that we have had this map and we have identified our ideas and we're plugging them in what variables are important for us, then we can start thinking about action. Okay, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing, because I want to make sure that after this time together, you're not just coming up with fun stuff and fun ideas that will never happen. I want to make sure that you're out of here with a couple of sparks that have possibility to make it out there, and then you have a concrete action plan to make it work. Okay, and again, I don't think this is going to be the end result. This is just the beginning of your journey, but I want to give you the tools to give you the possibility to think differently. So once again, if when we finish this, you have a good idea and you're feeling good with it and you want to move forward with it, go for it. But if at that point you feel that you might want to explore more options, just go back and do it again. And you'll see that every time you do it, there's something magical and new happening. Okay? Okay, so let's move forward. What I want you to do now is for that one that it sounds like looks very round, I want you to name it. I want you to give it a name. I want to make sure that you have something that you can anchor to it. In my case, my big circle was the idea of doing innovation consulting for restaurants around menus. So I'm going to call it Taste Rev. Okay? Revolution, taste, something fun. I just want to have fun with it. At the end, creativity is intelligence having fun. So that's exactly what we're doing here. I want you to have fun with your idea. I want you to be excited about what it could be, that this is a new chapter in your life and you can absolutely do it. You got it. You just have to be brave enough to go and pursue it. So, Taste Rev for me. I want you to think about what that looks like for you. What is that name of your new chapter in your life? And give it a name, whatever it is that you feel fun with and happy with. And if you feel like you want to share it, please put it in the chat. I would really like some branding ideas at this point. I mean, I just came with Taste Rev, but I'm sure I can come up with something else. But I want to make sure that it's something unique for you and something that you're attached to and something that you can anchor and call it. Call it by a name. Why is this important? Because your brain needs an anchor. Your brains need something to remind you of and to remember. And I want you to make sure that your Taste Rev, or whatever name you give it, is something that you can put in a post-it and make it visible. We want to make sure that this is not just lost in this beautiful live stream event, something that you take with you and you put it there in your refrigerator, in your nightstand, something physical that allows you to remind yourself that there are possibilities out there that you can pursue and that you have everything in your power to make it through. Okay? Okay, so in my case, Taste Rev. In your case, you let me know what it is. Take it and put it a name. Once you've done that, I'm going to ask you to get another piece of paper, put that name in the middle, Taste Rev, in my case, and I want you to put a very big statement that says underneath, what needs to be true. This is a new provocation for your brain. Your brain is going to start putting all the things in that's going to tell you, but you don't have the experience, but you can't do that, but you've never done that, but what if that doesn't work? And all this negative energy is going to start going in your brain. That's the way that your brain keeps you safe. And again, safe is fine when you don't want to die, but safe is not good to innovate. So what we want to have at our disposal is a mechanism to counterattack that and say, you know what? I can't do this, but I need a good provocation to tell my brain, stop it with that. In this case, that question and that provocation, it's called what needs to be true. I'm going to force my brain to think about options, to think about what if we actually do this? But how do we do this? And I'm going to give you that, what needs to be true. Okay? So again, your brain in the middle and a huge statement that says what needs to be true. Once you have done that, you're going to create two big squares next to your brand. One is going to be the things that can help you to make it true. And we'll get into that in a minute. And then the second one is going to be about what can I do today to get this started. Okay? So let's go first with the first set of things to make it true. Think about a list, and let's make at least 5 things that can help you make this true. Think about connections. Think about courses that you can take. Think about people that you can reach out. Think about networking events. Think about everything that can help you make this come true. So, for example, you can think about, do I need an investor? Do I need to take a course to make my skills even better? Should I be networking in this industry? All those things should go there. You're forcing your brain to be expansive about the options you have at your disposal. By doing that, you're counter-attacking but I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I have the experience. I have never done it. We want to make sure that our brain is focused on, you know what, I have things at my disposal that I can pull into to make it true. Okay? So by you writing it down and by you being conscious about those things and they exist, you're forcing your brain to move forward, to take action. Okay? So, with that in mind, let's do that. 5 things that make it come true. And then finally, what do we do today? I am obsessed with action because without action, nothing happens and we're just being imaginative. And it's good to be imaginative, but it's better to be creative. And to be creative, we need to take action. So for us to be taking action, we need to leave this live stream with something we did. Okay? So I want you to think about what can you do the minute you turn off this live stream. And I want you to think about 3 things. 3 things that are real that you can do today the minute you finish this live stream. So in my case, for example, I'm going to send an email to my friend that has a restaurant and see if he would be up to having a coffee with me and I can pitch the idea. That's one thing that I can do that it's simple, that I can send an email right now. Second thing I'm going to do, you know what? I'm going to go into LinkedIn and I'm going to look for 3 people that are in the industry. I'm going to have a coffee chat or I'm going to send them a message. Something simple that is going to ask you and ask your brain to start getting things going. So we're going to take the last 5 minutes to do this exercise. I'm going to put a little bit of music. Remember, what needs to be true? Think about the things that make it come true and think about 3 things that you can do right away. The minute you leave this live stream, this is what I'm going to do. Okay? Ready, set, let's roll. Okay. Yes, seeing some comments from Facebook and YouTube. Yes, exactly. Things that you can do immediately afterwards. It could be later if you want, but try to think about something simple that you can just put right now in action. Is there someone in this chat maybe that can help you with? Something that it might be as simple as, let me send an email, let me pick up the phone, let me make a reminder, let me talk to a friend. Something that just gets you started. The reason behind it is because we don't want to be stuck in good ideas. We want to be stuck in good action. Okay? We don't want to be stuck. We want to move forward with action. And action is the only thing that makes you creative, that makes you innovative. And that goes for business and that goes for personal life. Without action, you're not moving forward. So my goal of today is spark some light in opportunities and possibilities you have for your future, but also helping you get to that first step. And that first step is generally the hardest. So that's why I'm asking you to think about what it would look like if you just take a small step right now. What would that be for your future? And it doesn't have to be a big one. You can do it small. Fantastic. Awesome. How are we doing? Perfect. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. Here for you. So remember, what needs to be true. Think about the things that help you make it come true. Your experience, if you need to make changes to your CV, classes that you might take, people that you might talk to, connections. And then remember 3 things. 3 things that you can do simply today. Sending an email, talking to people in LinkedIn, talking to a friend, telling your husband about it tonight. Just put it out there. Once you actually put it in the universe, it's the beginning of a journey. Fantastic. Okay, we have 2 more minutes to go. And if you finish before, just let me know. Also, don't forget to put a brand behind it, a name. Because the last part of this is going to be making sure that you have something physical and tangible that you can go back to it over and over again. That helps your brain remember. That helps your brain anchor to something physical. We want to make sure that people are thinking that you are thinking differently about the future, and you don't want to forget it. And a very simple way to do it is by physically attaching that idea to something. It could be a post-it, it could be a big piece of paper that you put somewhere there, it could be a note in your notebook. Anything that makes it physical will help you get things going, will help your brain to get out of that shortcut and remember that there's possibilities out there for you. Okay, so we're gonna cut a little bit at the mark of 1 minute so we can move forward with the last step. So don't go anywhere, we're just missing the last piece to put it all together. Okay, so here we go. So once we've done this and we have everything that needs to be true and anything that I want that you can do today, I want to make sure that we're closing with a moment of reflection of what we just did, because it's actually a very big deal. When we started this a few 45 minutes ago, we started with the premise of you might have been in a moment of change in your career. You might be thinking about revamping. You want to reinvent yourself, but you have a blank slate and you don't know where to go. Well, that happens because your brain is going into a shortcuts mode. Okay? And that shortcuts mode is making you think of what you should do. I should go to sales. I should go to marketing. I should stay in tech. I have the experience. But what we wanted and what we accomplished during the time together is we gave ourselves the opportunity to think about what we could do. Being expansive and forcing your brain with a provocation. A provocation is something that takes you out of the ordinary and makes your brain think thoughts it has never thought before. I am pretty sure some of your ideas you've never actually imagined actually doing it because you never get the chance to ask yourself the right questions. So we came from going from what we should do for our careers to what we could do with our careers. And then we went through a very simple exercise to identify what works for you in your life to make this real. And by that, we identified 2 or 3 ideas, and we ended up with one that is a powerful one that would make sense for our lives. And we have an action plan to move forward. So my invitation today for all of you is just to keep thinking creatively about your next steps, especially about career. Career is such a big part of our life. We want to make sure that it's fulfilling us, that it's making us happy, that it's making us something that makes an impact for others. So just want to make sure that anything that you came up with today, even if it's crazy enough, give it some love, give it some thought, give yourselves the opportunity and the chance to explore what it could look like for you. Okay, so hopefully today we accomplished a couple of things. We did answer the questions, what if, how can I make it happen, and what do I do next? I hopefully brought a happy face into your day and you are thinking positively about this moment of change, whatever it is for you in your career. And then what I want to make sure is that you keep yourself curious and creative about what that looks for you in your next career move. So with that in mind, I'm leaving you here with a nice playlist that will help you make sure that you get your creative flow going. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here with you. This is a moment in which we all come together and figure out what's the next step, even we sometimes we don't know what it is. But I want to make sure that you know that I'm on your corner. You have everything that you need to fulfill your dreams. Be brave, be curious, be happy, and just have fun with the next adventure that comes to your way. It's been a pleasure being with you. If you have any questions, I'll be around to answer any questions in the next few minutes. Me and my company, Just a Squiggle, are here for you. Don't forget to follow us on social media. And if there's anything that I can do, I am just a ping away. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. My pleasure, Rodri. Happy to be here. Thank you, Vishal. Thank you, Ken, for being here. I'm excited about it. Thank you so much. Avina, it was a pleasure. Thank you. Any questions, just message me directly. Happy to help in any way I can. My pleasure, Melissa. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully, it was useful for you. I'm so happy that you got more clarity and hopefully more ideas to pursue something that you never thought it could be possible. You could absolutely do it. Any questions, just let me know. Happy to answer them. And if you have any other things, I am happy to discuss them over direct message. Fantastic. Okay, leaving you with one of my favorite pieces of music. Have a great day, everyone.
Hit it. That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys. What you talking about?
All young men with suits and ties, just sitting in the crowd smoking big cigars. I hope you're ready for what's coming now. I'm the one, I'm the lady that will bring it down. There's a joint on the corner where the big boys play, where the whiskey's running like the river, but they all never come for the booze and bass. I'm the one, I'm the lady that'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this place. Rock this
Okay, now, from the beginning.
There's a joint on the corner where the big boys play, where the whiskey's running like the river, but they all never come for the booze and bass. I'm the one, I'm the lady that'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. That'll rock this place. Rock this place.